how to deal with your inner critic. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess, the sole founder of Life in Confidence. And it's really easy to beat ourselves up for not being able to meet our own expectations or someone else's expectations, to not being able to fulfill our needs or their needs. And I noticed this playing out at a workshop that I hosted, and it was interesting to observe the way a person vocalizes their needs in a critical way. And when I observe that person communicating in that way, it also allows me to see the connection, how they were raised. Because if we communicate in a way that is controlling and critical of others, we also do that within ourselves. And the reason why we do that is because we had either a critical and controlling mother or father or both. And we play out this critical roles inside our mind. And this is where the inner critic occurs, this programming of being harsh and critical on ourselves that we project onto others because they're not seen as perfect, because we're not seen as perfect. They're not fulfilling our needs because we're not fulfilling our own needs. And where does that come from? From our family dynamic. Not being able to be seen as perfect in our parents' eyes, to not being able to fulfill their needs. And it causes disappointment. And so how can we remedy this? I love using alliteration. It's just so much easier to remember things. So how can we start bringing awareness of the critical parts of ourselves with compassion? Because if we start shifting the narrative in the way we communicate to ourselves and to others, there is a paradigm shift in our identity. So whenever I catch myself being critical within myself or others, I will invite compassion. How can I be loving and kind towards myself? How can I let go of being a perfectionist and the need to be in control all the time or to constantly achieve and meet these deadlines? How can I just be compassionate that I'm a human being and that I am not a robot, that I'm not made to be a high achiever 24/7, 7 days a week. It's cool to have goals, but life isn't about goals. It's about being and living in our own presence rather than chasing for perfection to happen. In order for us to be seen in the world, to be validated, to be respected. And how can I invite compassion towards others when I find myself criticizing them or judging them? It's so easy to nitpick flaws and little things that can irritate us, when instead, why don't we just invite more compassion? How about we try to see it from the other person's point of view and why they are the way they are? And this is just coming back to the workshop that I observed, how a participant was criticizing another participant. And this participant was willing to be compliant and, you know, he is a very gentle soul, but I could see the other participant was really angry and frustrated because she was really set in her opinions and criticism towards him? What if she could invite compassion towards this participant and accept him the way he is? Accept him that he's not perfect. Accept him that he may not have the same mannerisms that she has. And be in the present moment with herself in her healing process. So that is the beauty in compassion, is to bring us back into the present moment, whereas criticism gets us caught up in control. And this is where we truly lose, because it's a never-ending cycle. Why? Because no one will ever be perfect in our eyes if we come from a place of criticism and judgment and control. So how can you invite more compassion towards yourself, towards your parents, and towards others? If you feel that you need to work and alchemize more of your inner critic, or perhaps the woundedness of your inner child, you might be interested in plugging your ears to my childhood trauma clearing audio and to join me live for my childhood trauma clearing circle, where I guide you into a beautiful process of dissolving old timelines from the age of 0 to 8, the early development of your childhood that has imprinted this programming of judgment and criticism and perfectionism. And when we start dissolving and healing these fragments of ourselves, we start to feel whole again. We are able to anchor more love and more light into our being. So if you feel called and compelled and moved to receive this alchemy, click on the link below, and this will bring you to a different page to purchase my childhood trauma clearing audio and to join me live for my childhood trauma clearing circle. And feel free to share anything that you got from this video in the comments below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share it with your loved ones who are in need of this. May you bring more compassion into your life, because remember, every single person is just like you. Every single person is finding a way to fulfill their needs. Every single person has experienced sadness, despair, and sorrow. Every single person is finding ways to avoid suffering and pain. Every single person is learning about life in their own way, just like you. May compassion serve you.